All right, so with LA taking out Minnesota, the divisional round matchups are officially set. The Rams now head to Philly to face the Eagles. Saquon Barkley ran wild against LA in that regular season meeting, racking up 255 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. As promised, we bring back Ryan Clark to SportsCenter, talk a little bit more about what we're going to see this weekend. And RC, let's start in the AFC. We're going to get that matchup between the MVP frontrunners. But here's my question. How can Josh Allen and the Bills get some get back from that whooping Lamar and the Ravens handed them in week 4?
I mean, the first thing is you don't even think about that game anymore. This game is now going to be played on Buffalo Bills turf because of what they've earned throughout the rest of the season. And so now, how do we get James cooking? You see what I did there? Early on in the game, so we don't have to be one-dimensional if we're the Buffalo Bills. We can mar on the defensive side of the football. If they can play complementary football, keep this game close and tight all the way to the end, then you put the game in the hands of your MVP, Josh Allen, as the Baltimore Ravens will do with Lamar Jackson. I expect this one to be exciting. I expect it to be fun. I expect it to be close. And I also expect it to be career-defining for the two quarterbacks of these very good AFC football teams.
Career-defining is big words, but I also like how proud he was of himself.
Yes,
He's like, James cooking. I like what I did there. All right, to the NFC.
Took me off a TV. I wasn't even on screen.
No, you weren't. And I'm sure you're so happy. Jayden Daniels and the Commanders, we were talking about this yesterday. The amount of poise that Jayden Daniels has at the age of 24, he has seemed unflappable all season. But now he has to go against that Lions defense. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, the thing is, we know that Jayden Daniels won't be moved. He won't be shook. He won't be in a situation that he doesn't feel he's prepared and ready for. But on the other side of that, he's going to have to use Zach Ertz, have to use Austin Eckler, some of those veteran presence that were brought in to calm him, especially against that second level of this Detroit Lions defense. Now, the other piece of it is Jayden Daniels' legs. We know that he'll be pressured. We know that he'll be blitzed. They'll be playing cover one, which is man-to-man on the back end, with their backs turned to one of the most elusive quarterbacks in all of the league. If he protects the football and gives his team a chance on down and distance, I believe Jayden Daniels can be extremely successful against this great Detroit Lions team.
One thing we don't think he will be is fazed or bothered by anything he's seen so far. Yeah. All right, RC, it's that time of the show on a Monday for our favorite segment, but it is the final fit check of
Philly to face the Eagles. In yesterday's wild card action, the Eagles ground out a win over the Packers 22-10. Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdowns in his return from concussion, but it was really the defense that did the heavy lifting, and this one recovering a fumble on that opening kickoff. They pick off Jordan Love 3 times. He had a terrible game. So Hurts throws for 131 yards. But what stood out to you about their struggles in the past?
Yeah, there's no consistency to it. It's kind of hit or miss, right? They've leaned on the running game for a while. Hurts was hurt, obviously, but they got to get the passing game going again. And you got to get A.J. Brown more involved so he's not on the bench reading books. You got to target that guy at least 10 times in the game so you can get him tired. He's too tired to read a book. He'll be over there drinking some water or some Gatorade, right?
Yeah,
but that's part of it. I mean, you have to get the passing game. You have to hit some explosive plays.
You see what he's saying there about the book. It gave me a sense of peace. That's the book I bring to every single game. It's got a lot of points in there, a lot of mental game. I'm just wondering, though, as a coach, what did you think of that during the game, reading a book?
The good part is you won. You won the game. That's the good part.
You didn't like it, though, did you?
No, I didn't know Coach likes it. And I think the team probably doesn't like it either. But you're going to bring him in and talk to him about it.
Well, he said
it's every week. It's first time they showed the film.
Yeah, we're
might be true. I don't know.
We're late.
I don't know.
He's been doing it. And he said the team says it's their recipe because of the recipe.
What, it calls the recipe?
Yeah, because I guess it works.
Here's a better recipe. 10 targets a game.
Yeah.
That's the good recipe. You want to get this guy involved in the game so he's too tired to read books. Oh, boy. Go in the library. Read a book.
Okay. Let's go to the Washington Commanders.
Please.
Scary team, sir. Maybe for their own fans. Zane Gonzalez.
Oh, boy.
Right off the upright. Wow. But it went in.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, it was good. Is it worth 4 points when it does that? Is it worth 4 points?
Beat Tampa 23-20, and no, it is not worth 4 points. The Commanders' 6th win this season with the game-winning score coming in the final 10 seconds of overtime. The Commanders entering this season with the 3rd longest active drought without a playoff win, trailing the Dolphins and the Raiders Raiders. That was snapped last night, and Washington now seeks its first conference championship appearance since the '91 season when they went on to win the Super Bowl. Herm Edwards. So your former QB, Jayden Daniels, does it again for the Cardiac Commanders. Why does he seem to have his, I don't know, do his best in these biggest moments?
He's very composed in big moments. I witnessed it on the sideline when I was coaching him when he was a young freshman, sophomore. You know, just
tell us about the Michigan State
game. Yeah, we have the final drive. I called him over there, and there might be 10 Arizona State fans in the whole stadium, and it's white and green, and they're screaming. And I called him 5. I said, 5, you good? He looks at me and says, Coach, we're good. I said, go win the game. He wins the game, goes on the final drive, wins the game on the road. And it was like, this is what he does. And I've watched it with my own eyes. It's not surprising what he's doing right now at Washington. Not at all. And I think if you're a Washington Commander fan, you realize you have a special young man here. And he's about the team. He's not about his own numbers and things. I do know this, and I don't know if he knows this, but there's never been a rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl in the history of the league. And I guarantee you, if he's listening to this program, he just heard what I said. He might already know that. And he's probably challenging himself. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, they're 8.5-point underdogs Saturday night in the divisional game against the Lions. What do you see as their biggest challenge just to engineer an epic upset?
Well, I think their biggest challenge, can they stop the run of the Detroit Lions? Because the Detroit Lions are a powerful running football team. And when you look at Washington, if you look at the numbers against the run, they're ranked 30th. And that could be a problem. Because if you're the Lions, you want to steal possessions away from this Commanders offense. And how do you do it? You run the ball, physical football, take time off the clock. Don't allow this to be a 12-possession game. And through the run game, the passing game is generated by Jared Goff and his ability to throw the ball down the field and things of that nature. So the Washington Commanders are going to have to stop the run because that is the Detroit Lions' signature. We want to run the ball. We're going to be physical. Can you stop us?
Over-under is 55.5. That's the highest for any playoff game since Super Bowl 55 between the Bucs and the Chiefs. I don't know if you expect that much scoring, Coach, but apparently some other folks do.
It'll be fun to watch.
They're saying no defense then.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Basically.
The divisional playoffs set in the AFC with all the top 4 seeds fighting to make the conference championship. Going to begin with the Chiefs hosting the Texans Saturday on ESPN and ABC. Texans 0-5 in franchise history in the divisional round. To make matters worse, they're facing Patrick Mahomes, who is 6-0 in divisional games. Most wins without a loss in any playoff round all time. Then on Sunday, the battle between 2 MVP candidates, Bills hosting the Ravens. 4th time since the merger. The first and second team All-Pro QBs meeting in the divisional round. Good news for Lamar Jackson. The first team player won the other 3 meetings. So, Herm, why is Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense so dang challenging to defend?
Oh, boy. They figured this thing out. All of a sudden, this 2 tight end package with Henry, it puts you in a pickle defensively. Because all of a sudden you have to put in heavy personnel because they got 2 tight ends and a running back. So now you're down and running people over. And then you got this guy, Lamar Jackson, MVP candidate, and is he playing well? But these 2 big tight end game, but also can you stop the passing game with these 2 tight ends involved in it? Very difficult.
Especially without Zay Flowers.
Yeah, you don't know where it's coming from. I watched the RPO, one of Derrick Henry's long touchdown runs, the RPO. Lamar just kept the ball in there, just kept it in there to the last second, and the defense didn't know what to do. And then Henry took it and went.
And see, and the problem with Lamar Jackson, it's 11-on-11 football now. Because now you have to take a defensive player and say, we have to watch Lamar Jackson as well because of the RPO.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Love it.
The year. All right, a little something else went down the league Monday. Jerry Jones finally doing what everyone was expecting, telling Mike McCarthy that he would no longer be the Cowboys head coach, ending McCarthy's 5-year run in Dallas, which included 3 playoff appearances. And guess who Jerry has already talked to? Yep, Deion. The 2 spoke Monday. There's no formal interview set up just yet, but they do plan to talk again. Now, Deion spoke to Adam Schefter Monday night. Quote, "To hear from Jerry Jones is truly delightful and it's intriguing. I love Jerry and believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing. But I love Boulder and everything there is about our team, the coaches, our student body, and the community." Okay, RC, when you hear the potential of Deion Sanders going to Dallas to be their new head coach, what comes to your mind?
Why not? This is something I actually talked about early in the offseason last year. I thought it would be the perfect marriage. We all understand that someone has to be able to deal with Jerry Jones, not just the owner, not just the GM, but the man who wants to run everything about the Dallas Cowboys organization. Deion Sanders can do that. Someone needs to have the cachet and the understanding of what it's like to be within that building and be a player. Know the circus that is going to surround you week after week, day after day. Deion Sanders can do that. And he's also shown you that he could be a leader of men that could walk into the Dallas Cowboy locker room on day one and command and demand the respect of all the players there because he's been in their shoes, he's excelled in their shoes, and moved on and shown he can build an organization the way he did at Jackson State and in Boulder, Colorado. And
he's been successful at every level of football in which he's served as a head coach. RC, coming back a little bit. Oh, sorry. We were just taking a moment to try to get our minds right because mental clarity is key, especially when it comes to the point after.
You know, a good beach read really brings out my snark. We are living in an age when everyone, and there's a camera like everywhere, where NFL players have every sideline move monitored and watched. Yet one of the most prolific receivers in the NFL wants you and me to believe he is just your average in-game bookworm over there getting a jump on his 2025 Goodreads list by revisiting an old favorite that allegedly none of the aforementioned cameras has ever seen before. In related news, here's a really polite list of things that you can say to someone when you know they are lying to you. I know that's not what happened. That sounds strange. Is there something I'm missing?